The Comedy Film Nerds podcast, ATC, was actually started by Al Madrigal and Bill Burr. And it's a really cool studio, and I'm here. I've been recording several Comedy Film Nerds episodes, so I thought I wanted to do something on this because I found this article in The Intercept. It brings up such a great point that it's by Cora Courier, and it's on May 15th of The Intercept. Gina Haspel and the Fiction of a Feminist CIA. And it's really, Gina Haspel is pro-torture, and so Gina Haspel helped open up a black site in Thailand, and there's ex-CIA operatives that I've done videos on this who said she was in the room and like got off on it. So this is what the crazy-ass deep state does. So now they're making it, now the Trump administration is playing gender politics, right? First ever CIA, female head of the CIA, what a victory. In this corporate pro-military empire that is America, we're all supposed to cheer. When in fact, it's like, look at how horrifying this is. And so it really shows the hypocrisy of both sides, right? So Sarah Huckabee Sanders is saying, any Democrat that doesn't support her, I guess you're not the true feminist you think you are, which is like, well, first of all, the Trump administration has hired way more women than men. Trump is a sexist and has been accused of rape. So he's a filthy scumbag. But this just shows, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read the joke that The Onion put out. And when The Onion is like, The Onion has become, Abby Martin retweeted this because she's like, when The Onion nails it more than the corporate media, it tells you where we're at. This is what The Onion wrote. Gina Haspel recalls having to torture more prisoners than male colleagues to prove herself. That's hilarious. That's why I love The Onion. But it's like, oh God, is this what feminism looks like now? I've said this before, yay, now women are allowed to be as awful as men have been. And this is what the corporate military machine looks like. And they're touting, oh, first females. It's more the distraction. It's the distraction of the Trump party, the Trump party, that's what you want to call Republicans now. But his White House is very skilled. He's very skilled at distracting people. But we all fell for it, right? Obama, first black president, and look what he did. I voted for him twice. I worked in his campaign in 2008, and he legalized gay marriage, which I'm very happy he did. There was a good friend of mine, Scott Kennedy, who was an openly gay comic who did over 50 comedy tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, took me on 3 of them, and he was entertaining a military for a country that wouldn't even allow him to get married. And he died before the law was passed in 2014. So I was very happy Obama did that. But then he deported 2 million people. He set the Middle East on fire. He, ran out of bombs. He bombed it so much. He created 5.2 million foreclosures, and we're all supposed to go, yay. As Cornel West says, Obama was the first black leader of the American empire. And Gina Haspel is just the first evil CIA woman. She's the first head of an evil, covert torture organization that JFK said he wanted to split into 1,000 pieces before they put a bullet in his head. It's similar to what Sheryl Sanders calls lean-in feminism. It may be good for the careers of individual women, but does nothing to address the injustices perpetuated by the system as a whole. That's the key here. Being critical of her doesn't mean I hate women. It doesn't mean I don't think a woman can run the CIA. It means the CIA is evil. The CIA hires and condones torture of another human being. It's been proven, one of the few things I agree with John McCain about, because he's pretty pro-war, but when it comes to torture, since he was tortured, he says it doesn't work. There's been evidence where they've tortured people and they gave the wrong information because they'll just say they didn't have the information, so they just said, I'll say whatever I got to say for you to stop torturing me. And it shows how sick this country is. The mainstream media is not really questioning how much she's tortured people. It's just, oh, we got a woman in there. So here's a thing from the article. But her case also underlines the fact that mainstream discourse on women's empowerment is too often siloed from foreign policy and national security, including among progressives. In the popular movement, women's issues are too often represented as a finite list focused purely on the domestic, reproductive rights, pay equality, sexual assault, childcare, while national security and foreign policy are rarely examined through a feminist lens, except in terms of workplace equality for working women in those fields. The notable exceptions are the many Muslim and African American activists who've led opposition to domestic surveillance of their communities, and the writers, scholars, and activists who've questioned supposedly feminist justifications for military intervention in Muslim countries. A global feminist perspective insists that we can't blindly celebrate the historical advancements of women within the United States national security state at the expense of critiquing the policies in which these women are implicated. We have to consider the impact of U.S. wars, assassinations, surveillance, and other policies on women the world over. Yeah. Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State. Yay! She got to celebrate the murder of Gaddafi. Gaddafi, not a good guy, but holy shit. The power vacuum that was created. Are we, celebrating now that women get to greenlight drone strikes? Women get to greenlight torture? This article is great because it doesn't, if we just say, yay, first woman, we're not addressing the overall problem. This country, you want to really help women's rights? Stop bombing brown women and Middle Eastern women around the world in poor countries. You really want to be there for women? Don't kill their children with drone strikes. Don't bomb their countries and devoid their countries of any sort of reasonable democracy or economy, so forcing the young men to join terrorist organizations. Yay, Hillary Clinton got Gaddafi out of there. There's open slave markets in Libya now because the country was so destabilized. ISIS came in and it's madness. I mean, Condoleezza Rice, yay! She was the first black woman Secretary of State. Yeah, she has an oil tanker named after her. How fucked is that? She helped Bush lie about the war in Iraq. You want to help women's rights? Cut the military budget in half. Right? And when women do awful things like men, hold them accountable. I posted about having to file a restraining order against my violent, abusive ex-girlfriend, right? I posted this on Facebook, and there were some couple comments from women that really stood out to me. One of them was like, Graham, thank you for posting this. I'm so tired of everybody saying all women are princesses and victims. Women can do awful things, and we should hold them accountable just like men. That, to me, is the equality that I want to see. This woman posted this. It's on my Facebook page. And I've talked to more women that say that. So it's really, I'm glad that this is being written. And I want to read you the last paragraph. The CIA is an institution dedicated to the dominance of U.S. interests abroad. The agency's perception of those interests in the years after the 9/11 attacks and what it was willing to do in service of them are the most important questions Haspel has to answer. She has stated that the enhanced interrogation program is not one the CIA should have undertaken. Oh, now you're saying it. Okay. But during her confirmation hearing, she refused to unequivocally condemn the torture. She just talked around it and said, oh, we probably shouldn't have done that. Any amount of gender parity Haspel might bring to the agency is irrelevant in light of that. Right? That's why I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, because she bailed out the banks. She was part of that. She got paid $600,000 by Goldman Sachs. Dr. Jill Stein was against that. Dr. Jill Stein is for a Green New Deal. That's why I voted for Jill Stein. The same reason I voted for Bernie, because of their policies. I'd love to see a female president, provided she's a progressive, provided she's anti-war, provided she wants to cut the military budget in half, provided she's not in favor of torture and drone strikes, provided she's in favor of a livable wage, of Medicare for all, of free college tuition, of rebuilding the infrastructure with green energy. That is what I'm willing to vote for. I applaud this article in The Intercept. The Intercept is straying a little bit, but this is a good article. And thanks for watching the show. And please, my tour dates, Ron Placone and I are doing leg 2 of the Progressive Comedy Tour in June 20th through the 24th. All the dates are at grahamelwood.com. Thanks for watching the show.